Hello, my name is Tofpik. I'm Head of Technical Analysis and Senior Markets Analyst at ADM Investor Services International Limited, and here is your daily technical analysis of foreign exchange markets.
Euro-dollar, a bullish engulfing pattern on Friday, if only just after the previous session's hanging man pattern. Prices finished just over the April 2017 low at 105.68, and in between the upper time above, currently at 106.41, and the lower time below, currently 104.70, with the dark blue highlighted acute late September to early November bearish Andrews pitchfork. Looking at the market action with some fresh eyes, I thought that just possibly the action over most of November might just be turning into a very narrow reverse head and shoulders pattern. More on this should it develop, as it's also inspired me to look at other FX markets this way. For guidance, the next neckline is at 105.73 today. Now, so far today, a move lower, a significant looking move lower so far, down to the combined February and March 2017 lows at 104.92 and towards the dark blue middle time below. Cable, aka sterling against the US dollar. Effectively a fifth bullish white soldier on Friday, with prices moving up and closing over both of the significant 50% Fibonacci lines that were overhead. One from June 2016 to September 2024, the move there at 126.99, and the other from the October 23 to September 24 move at 127.34. Mind you, prices barely close over the latter one. The base of the action was the September 2020 low at 126.72. Looking at this market action with some fresh eyes, I thought that just possibly the action over most of November might just be turning into a very narrow reverse head and shoulders pattern. More on this should it develop, as it was inspired by my analysing euro-dollar, and it's also inspired me to look at other FX markets. For guidance, the neckline is at 126.85 today. And so far today, a strong reactionary move back down through the pair of 50% Fibonacci lines and down towards the September 2020 low. It is looking right now like a bearish dark cloud cover pattern that is verging on being a bearish engulfing pattern. Euro sterling, a fourth bearish black crow on Friday, with prices moving down from the overhead cap seen in the previous session from the August 2022 low at 83.38 and throughout the last few weeks by the green descending short medium moving average, currently 83.44. Below we have congestion at the following levels: the October 24 low at 82.93, the February 2020 low at 82.79, and the 2020 low at itself at 82.74, as well as lows seen in November at 82.65 and 82.58. I should point out again that I'd previously said how the August 2022 low was the gateway to a congestion zone below that stretches down to the October this year low at 82.93. There is still a question outstanding that hangs over this market as to whether we have or have not a late September to date based cat's ears pattern, typically seen as a bearish pattern. I was last week starting to lose patience with waiting for a solution to this idea, and then it occurred to me that the whole action from mid-September might be also trying to form a possible diamond pattern as well, or instead. I'll monitor this idea. Now, so far today, a strong move lower below the base of the congestion at the October 2024 low 82.93, the February 2020 low at 82.79, and the 2020 low itself at 82.74. The market is now looking at the low seen in November, 82.65 and 82.58. And what was at one point a possible double bottom formed over November might now at the very least be becoming a triple bottom, if at all. US dollar against the Japanese yen. An immediate countering bearish opening black Marubozu and bearish engulfing pattern on Friday, after the previous session's bullish piercing line pattern type. Prices were capped by the August 1990 high at 151.58, with a little above this congestion at 151.93 and the flatlining gold long moving average, currently 151.99. And they punched down and closed below the recent 50% Fibonacci line at 150.76, as well as the rising short medium moving average, currently 150.26, finally stopping just above but still breaching the 50% Fibonacci line, the July 23 to July 24 move at 149.61. This is a continuation of the break and move down from the recent late October to late November dark blue bull channel. Now further down we have the declining medium moving average, currently 148.95, and that's the Fibonacci line at 148.68. Now the break below the small bull channel gave us a primary target X in the 150.85 zone, which was achieved last week, and a still alive secondary, harder to reach target X1 down at 147.35, or the zone around there. Now, one final thing, and this was inspired by my analysis of Eurodollar, and it was to have a fresh look at the market action and just possibly see the action over most of November, that it might just be a very small head and shoulders top pattern, or head and shoulders pattern. For guidance, the neckline is at 154.76 today, and it has just about reached both primary and the harder to reach secondary targets below as well for a head and shoulders top. And so far today, a reactionary move back up from the 50% Fibonacci line at 149.61 through the short medium moving average and up to the recent 50% Fibonacci line at 150.76, and looking like a possible counter to counter bullish thrusting pattern right now. US dollar against the CNH, the offshore Chinese yuan. An indecisive spinning top on Friday with a long tail below that pierced but did not break the very recent uptrend, currently at 724.89, that forms part of the November to date ascending wedge pattern, currently 724.89 to 727.55. Earlier last week, prices had reached the primary target topside for the late August to late October reverse head and shoulders pattern. We still have live this secondary harder to reach target X1 topside for this up at 732.20. Now, with all this action, prices still close below, if only just, the dark blue extension to the upper trend line for the January to early April ascending triangle pattern. It's currently 725.01. We had been capped by this same dark blue extension for most of the last few weeks, so please pay special attention to it. Immediately overhead, we also still have a small July-based congestion between approximately 726 to 729.25. Now, so far today, a higher open over the dark blue neckline extension and a very strong move higher over the upper trend line of the ascending wedge pattern and towards the bright red lower trend line extension, currently 729.60 of the late December 23 to August 24 move, which might not be that strong a resistance as it was never part of any pattern. However, we are now back within that small July-based congestion between 726 even and 729.25. US dollar against the Mexican peso. An indecisive spinning top on Friday that was also a third bearish black crow. Prices closed below the breached bright red lower time, currently at 20.45.13, of the very important big picture April to July bullish shift pitch hawk, with the September 22 high overhead at 20.57.65. However, we are still within the mid-August to mid-September dark blue bullish shift pitch hawk, in between the lower time below, currently at 20.14.56, and the middle time above, currently at 20.78.76, as well as over the purple neckline, currently at 20.17.35, of the late July to early October lopsided head and shoulders continuation pattern. We also have overhead the September 22 high at 20.57.65 and below the October 22 high at 20.17.20. Even now, I guess this still shows the strong influence of both of the bullish pitchforks, even though one's been breached. Both of the bullish pitchforks running this market higher. Now, so far today, a reactionary test higher up over the bright red lower time, but not as yet stabilizing over it and possibly making a bullish engulfing pattern and bullish opening white Mariposa, but it's still early days yet.
Thank you for listening. This short version broadcast gives essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and the back of this broadcast. Copyright is Eddie Tofpik and ADM Investor Services International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.